welcome everyone to the second episode in a series I call Jazz and Conversation. I am your host, Silverback Matt, and I'm here to guide you all through some discussion with jazz and jazz-influenced music. And in these episodes, I'll be talking about ideas I think are important while we explore some jazz and jazz-inspired music from all different genres. For this episode, I want to focus on a topic that's a bit heavy, but should have all of our attention for the sake of our futures. So basically, in this day and age, I feel like the world is heading backwards. And the way I see it, there's not enough people who are aware of this. People just don't care. The number of these people seem to be growing exponentially too, which is basically destroying the world at a faster rate. I was watching the news the other day, and there was a 13-year-old boy who was mixed up with the wrong crowd and pretty much lost his life over a Facebook comment. And then there was a 16-year-old who killed another kid that he considered a friend and took a picture with the body. This is disgusting, and just saying it out loud makes me uncomfortable. How could someone, let alone a little kid, be capable of doing something like this? We all need to wake up, and step up to the plate and start being leaders, because where do you think we're headed if this continues? The leaders before us, what do you think they were trying to show us? And they basically paved the way for us, but I could tell not enough people were paying attention, because nowadays it's all backwards. The wrong people have the spotlight now. They're giving these messed up messages that it's cool to be ignorant, and who cares about doing the right thing? They don't care about anyone else's life or their own. It needs to stop now because it's igniting self-destruction. I remember when it was the third world countries that were overrun by rebel militants. They had these little kid soldiers running around with their guns, and now it's over here. These little mindless teenagers with guns shooting in the streets over nothing, over Facebook comments. What's the reason for this? I'm not saying the other countries, they had reasons, but over here we were given an opportunity. Now, instead of trying to find a way to make things better, we're going backwards. There's too much of this wrong ideas and the wrong messages getting attention, and it's being spread around like a virus. Because if you pay attention to the songs that are getting recognition than the songs that are in the spotlight, so many of them glorify negativity. It's that who cares if you do the wrong thing? It takes you from nothing to something. Mentality is so backwards, What is it that people find attractive from that? It's the knowledge and the character and the hard work that takes you places. We need to remind people of this because there's too many people that have lost focus on what really matters, So the first song that I want to play, and I feel like is appropriately titled, People Make the World Go Round, and it's a rendition actually by Richard Elliott. It's a jazz cover of what was originally done by the Stylistics. So here's People Make the World Go Round by Richard Elliott. The title is self-explanatory. These people that are lost and unaware, they don't realize it's not money or materials, it's the people, it's us, we're the ones that make the world go round. People have become so wrapped up in useless things that they lost sight of what's important, and having character, it's not regular anymore. It's not as common as it should be. It's to the point where if you do the right thing, you get rewarded or applauded for it. I mean, if you think about that, it's basically saying that people have become so selfish and inconsiderate. It's common sense though. If you don't have character, you won't make it far. I mean, I was watching a James Brown interview, and he was talking about what it is that brought him, a non-graduate, a shoeshine boy, from nothing to success.
This is the reason why today I talk to the kids. Education is the answer. Know what you're talking about. Be qualified. Be ready. Let's live for our country. Let's live for ourselves.
Why did you make that speech, James?
Well, it's my duty as a man, as an American, as a black man, talking to my people, and respect for self as a man.
He kept saying, I'm a man first, and I feel like what he meant by that is he was somebody with character, somebody who had vices too, someone who knew he had flaws, but he wanted to work on them, so he learned from his mistakes. This is something I think men and women should pay attention to, If you look at it, so many icons and so many leaders from the past, they all knew what it was. They used everything that they went through, all their experiences to help them grow. They learned from it. They didn't change who they were just so they could try to get what they want, Before I continue, I want to make sure we're all on the same wavelength. Let's just check out a song real quick. It's one of my favorites by Antonio Carlos Obim. It's called Wave. hope you all are feeling refreshed from that one. So going back to this, I feel like if we want to start making this change for the better, we could first start with the music, you know, start paying attention to the music with the value, and, you know, promoting the people who send positive messages. I was watching a Tupac interview. Throughout the interview, he was basically addressing what would happen if music went down the wrong path, and if people didn't educate themselves, and if they didn't pay attention to the world around them. Basically everything that's happening now, he figured it out. And in the interview he mentions how too many people listen to the beat and the flow, and they don't actually pay attention to the content, the lyrics. He's like, we need to listen to what's actually being said. He's not the only person though, and this is what I was saying before. I like music with substance, and messages of the song is what's really important. You actually have to have some sense of awareness. That's what has an impact on us. That's what should draw us in, because it really reflects on our lives. The proof is right in front of us. If you look at it, if you constantly listen to what I consider empty music, which is that nonsense talking about doing drugs and selling drugs and killing people or just partying nonstop, all you do is become sucked into that pattern, into that lifestyle. And then whether you listen to that nonsense all the time, you'll end up being mindless. You don't end up thinking for yourself, and it's unfortunate because eventually somewhere along the lines you might end up emulating that lifestyle. The evidence is right in front of our face. Look at all this hardcore drugging and violence, and these kids that are out there, instead of avoiding these drug environments, they go looking for it. Instead of avoiding conflicts and fights, they fuel these confrontations, and they film it and they post it on the internet. This is not something that should be considered a topic of interest. No one should be interested in seeing that. Last time I checked, these are the things that our generations before us were teaching us not to do. So where along the lines did this become, accepted, this backwardness? There's too many people that just don't care and they ignore it. Actually, I think it's beyond ignoring, because in order for you to ignore something, you actually have to have some sense of awareness, and it's like there isn't even a thought there. There's no sense of awareness. This is why I keep saying mindless, because if you pay attention to the real music, it tells you a different story. The music that isn't mindless, you look at some of the jazz musicians and regular musicians, just any musician from any genre, pay attention to what they're saying. A lot of them had vices too. Some of them alcohol, some of them drugs, whatever it was, but they never glorified it. If they talked about it, it was to show that they learned from the experience, or that they used the music to express the mindset, So when you hear someone today talking about how they love drugs or anything like that in that negative field, they shouldn't get any attention, let alone be a #1 hit. On top of this, there's these people who know what I'm saying right now, and they recognize the problem, yet they still promote it. It's all about the business. It's all about the money. Forget the future. It's just selfishness. Another thing I see that's really a big issue, hypocrisy. To elaborate, again, these backwards artists, the ones that are sending the wrong messages, they're constantly talking about the only people that they trust, the people that they've known, they kept in their circle the whole time, yet they're the first people to turn on them. How do you turn on your own people? There's no sense of loyalty. There's no character there. It's backwards. How is it someone like Tupac, who was shot, betrayed, jailed, and all of that, and he chose to take all of those experiences, focus, learn from them, and funnel all that energy that came from those experiences and put it in a positive way, send it in a positive message? What's the excuse for someone who nowadays, they'll make a threat, or they'll threaten someone, or they'll take someone's life just because they're standing near them or in the wrong area of the neighborhood? Someone with no character, that's someone who's a weak shell of a person. People need to start working on themselves. We should all be learning and building our character so we can be the best versions of ourselves. We can start by having a better choice in music. So let's start there. First step, what's out there? Look for better music. Look for better substance in our songs. Before we close, I want to play a couple of songs for you I think you'll enjoy. I think it'll soothe our minds after all these thoughts. So this first one is Midnight Samba by Stan Getz. Yeah, so this last song that I'm gonna leave you with, it's a groovy type jazz, something to pick up our spirits. Some of you may know this as the original Electric Relaxation by A Tribe Called Quest, but this is Mystic Brew by Ronnie Foster. So I just want to say thank you for listening, and I want to continue this convo with all of you. I hope to hear your thoughts and ideas, so please feel welcome to comment. Silverback Matt, signing off.